Mike Tyson is one of the most impressive, aggressive, dominant heavyweight boxers in history, and that makes his relationship with Robin Givens all the more puzzling. How could such a dominant alpha male not be able to pick a better woman? And how could Tyson, so dominant in the sport of boxing, not even lead and control his own relationship?
Yes, dear.
So in this video, we are going to analyze Mike Tyson's relationship with Robin Givens and answer those questions and more. So let's start. Number 1. Get some experience. Tyson didn't have any. Tyson was very inexperienced by the time he got rich and famous. As a kid, he felt unattractive, and Cas D'Amato kept the girls at arm's distance. Or, shall we say, at bat distance.
The fighter considered himself unattractive. Cus pulled out a bat. He said that he would beat me off my head if I said one more thing about girls.
Experience is helpful in general, but it's even more important if you plan on getting rich and famous, since you will be having hordes of women available to you.
He's Mike Tyson, he's heavyweight champion of the world. Women are literally lining up to meet him. He can pick and choose, and that has to be for a guy who didn't know how to handle women to begin with. An absolutely devastating experience.
And most of all, keep on learning, which you are doing right now. 2. Don't chase, or chase well. Look, there is plenty of people who tell you never chase, and in many ways it's true, but this channel is more advanced, and there are some ways in which chasing can work, and it can even work to sweep a woman off her feet. But it needs to be done well, and you need to rebalance the power dynamics later on. Tyson chased Givens too hard, and that gave Robin Givens all the power. Tyson never reclaimed the power, and Robin Givens took full advantage of that.
I saw this young lady, Robin Givens, on television one day. I had called somebody and I said, get me in touch with that young lady. And I left to go to England. I kept calling this guy every day to get me in touch with this young lady. Me and this young lady went out for a few weeks, and then eventually I proposed to her. Maybe it must have been a month.
3. Beware the pregnancy power move. Tyson fell for it. Frankly, not much to say here. Just make sure you double check the pregnancy is real, and if you don't want children, use condoms. It's always a good idea for STDs as well. Don't trust those who say unprotected sex is safe. They're either lying or they haven't been around enough.
Robin Givens tells Mike Tyson that she's pregnant with his baby.
Givens would announce she'd had a miscarriage shortly thereafter.
4. Beware marriage risks. Tyson never made a prenup. As a rule of thumb, the wealthier you are, the higher the potential risks and costs of a marriage. Extremes and absolutes don't serve you well, so I will avoid saying never ever marry under any circumstance. But if you marry, you must know the risks and the general rules. For example, it's safer to marry women who were there before you got rich and famous. And do look into asset protection options.
There was no prenuptial agreement. We got married to be together forever. Not to plan for divorce. What do you think about what Robin's saying?
Well, she's totally true. You know, I mean, about a prenuptial agreement, I wouldn't know how to go about to ask her to sign it. If you're going to marry somebody, you trust them, and that's what marriage is all about, is being together for the rest of your life. For this stage of my life, I do have many a millions. My wife would just have to ask for it, and she has every penny I have.
Their wedding represented a power shift.
Before they got married, she was terrific. She was kind, she was warm, she was considerate. But once they got married, she announced, I'm Mrs. Mike Tyson, and I'm taking over. And when I heard that, I knew we were in trouble.
5. Learn female nature. Tyson had unrealistic expectations. Being unaware of women's true nature, and of people in general actually, Tyson had unrealistic expectations.
What I want in a woman is protection, loyalty, companionship, loyalty, friendship, companionship, ferociousness. I want her to protect me and have my back to the bitter end. If I have a fight, I want her to jump in, even if I'm winning, even if she's 90 pounds.
Listen up, there are plenty of supportive women in this world, and it's not even impossible to find a woman providing endless love. The book Women Who Love Too Much describes exactly these types of women, but they are exceptions and rare. So you are better served with more realistic expectations about reality. Speaking of which. 6. Learn to judge characters. Tyson was a poor judge of characters, both with other men, see Don King, and with women. There were red flags all over with Robin Givens. Just listen how she answered this question that framed Tyson as too dumb for her.
How does a woman who went to Sarah Lawrence and Harvard Medical School wind up falling in love with a guy who's a graduate of the School of Hard Knocks?
God, I want to know too.
She doesn't defend Tyson, doesn't say he's smart or great, doesn't say she loves him, but by refusing to deny the reporter's frame that she's too smart for Tyson, she actually confirms that frame. Learning to judge characters is a fundamental life skill, and the more powerful you become, the more important it becomes. And by the way, when you're powerful and rich, a no is often a better sign than a yes.
Signing autographs, many times running his hand right up the leg of a woman he never met in his life. Some of them loved it and let him get away with it. Some of them pulled back. One of them even cracked him on the top of the head, took the autograph and ripped it up.
7. Believe in yourself. Let's replay the video again, because it's crucial to understand how some men, or women for that matter, end up being played.
God, I want to know too.
She was higher class than he ever thought he would obtain. And I think one of Mike's weaknesses was that he always had very low self-esteem.
Tyson, having low self-esteem, he secretly believed and internalized the frame that Robin Givens was superior to him. And that is the key that gave Givens all the power over Tyson. Solution: work on yourself to become a high-quality man, so that you can build your self-esteem around the reality of you being a high-quality man, and then you never have to feel inferior to anyone. 8. Learn power dynamics. Learn how manipulation looks like, from the big manipulation to the daily smaller ones. As a matter of fact, the daily and smaller manipulations are more important, since they provide you all the small red flags or the green lights that will tell you how to proceed or whether to proceed at all. Mike Tyson missed or ignored all the manipulative cues in the relationship, starting from the biggest one, Robin Givens embarrassing him on live television.
It's been pure hell. It's been worse than anything I could possibly imagine. Michael is a manic depressive. He is. I mean, that's just a fact. It's been torture.
You can recognize here the same tactics used by Elon Musk's former wife.
You would not wish that kind of pain on your worst enemy. Elon proposed really quickly. The idea of being swept off your feet is appealing, and I'd probably have said yes to anyone that seemed half sensible if they proposed after 10 days, just because it's kind of an interesting thing to do. Although there's been so many times that, right, I'm getting on a plane to England and I'm never going to see you again.
Really? All these games are designed to send a power message: I can do whatever I want and I am the prize in this relationship. 9. Avoid the gold digger frame. You might think that a gold digger frame is obvious, but many guys miss it because a gold digging frame is nothing but a provider frame taken to the extreme. Look, there is nothing wrong with being a provider, and it's possible to be a high-power, high-quality provider. I'm grateful for my father being an effective provider, but as most things, balance. When you believe that your only task is being a provider, when you build your whole self-esteem around being a provider, and when the woman you're with only rewards and appreciates you for providing luxury lifestyle, then you're not a high-quality provider anymore, but you're being taken for a ride by a gold digger.
Newlyweds on their $4.5 million New Jersey estate. He's very romantic. He's very, slip a diamond under your pillow, or you say, bring me something back, and you mean anything, and comes back with a Porsche. Things like that. It's just Michael.
From the standpoint of Mike Tyson, she was like a fairy princess, actually. And what happened after the marriage, Mike became thoroughly and completely obsessed with her. It's an obsession that I've never seen in any man before.
To avoid being the victim of a gold digger, ask yourself, does she appreciate me for more than just bringing home the bacon? Does she support me in my goals independently of what produces income? Again, as for everything, balance. If you spend all your time chasing pipe dreams and she's paying for your Domino's pizzas, then maybe you can start focusing on being more effective at what you do and pick a better pizza provider, by the way. On the other hand, if you're doing your part, providing value, and still all she cares and rewards you for is luxury lifestyle, then you can probably drop the gold digger.
Tables and driving an $80,000 car. Do you actually think it was mine?
Get out.
10. Be extra careful if you're romantic. Being romantic is good, and it allows you to more deeply enjoy romance and relationships. On the other hand, unluckily, it also exposes you to more risks, namely falling in love with the wrong woman, getting emotionally hooked, or having emotions and feelings cloud your judgment. The solution is not to repress your feelings, but to complement them with good judgment and a good grasp of power dynamics. Tyson was a special case of sensitivity. Listen to this video.
I don't know why I'd done it, but I just was emotional. I was in love, I believe, and I got married. I was always interested in keeping in touch with her for some reason. I didn't want to lose basic touch with her. I felt a sense of abandonment, but I brought it on to myself. I felt alone. I felt a little ashamed. I felt like a half of a person. I didn't feel totally whole at the time. I don't like being loved. I like loving. I don't feel like being loved. I don't like love. I have too much love to give and none to accept. And I turn around when I want to turn around. No, that's what I want. I want to ravish them completely.
Possibly because he never had a loving mother, Tyson was looking for a mother figure to attach to. As crazy as that might sound, Tyson was a case of a man who loves too much. Again, balance. You should seek supportive women, and I even totally get it when he says that he wished to stay in touch with givens. I have the same feelings for the women I love the most. But that's where the judgment must step in. You cannot let those feelings develop with value-taking, manipulative women. Those women you must ruthlessly cut out. Summing it up, Tyson was an interesting case of an alpha male with some entrenched blue pill mindsets and beliefs. And it shows us that being alpha, however you define that, is absolutely not enough to win in life and absolutely not enough to develop positive, value-adding interpersonal relationships. For that, you also need social intelligence and power intelligence. This video showed you some crucial laws of power when it comes to intersexual relationships. For the best overview of power dynamics and how to win a life, see Power University. Arrivederci, friends. Much love from this guy. Big hug. Ciao ciao. Like and subscribe. Thank you.